time for me to get all dolled up. I'm about to go on a blind date with a book. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Latte Words, where we sip some coffee and talk about words. So there's this little bookstore very close to where I live that sells these books that are wrapped in paper, and they're these kind of mystery books. And it's called Blind Date with a Book. And I've been meaning to pick one of these up for ages because they're just really fascinating. And I decided to pick up this book right here, yeah. And it's most likely mirrored the wrong way, so it's hard for you to read. I will try to remember to flip this in editing, but knowing me. Instead, I'll just read it out to you. It says, good versus evil, fears and desires, fantasy horror, classic, and ride the carousel. So I was really fascinated by the idea of ride the carousel, especially because it's very specific and it gives me Victorian vibes. The fact that it's also a classic and fantasy horror is making me think H.P. Lovecraft. Ooh, could I be right? What do you think? Do you think H.P. Lovecraft? Is there somebody else who does books that are considered classics that are fantasy horror? I'm sure there's plenty. But H.P. Lovecraft, who is one of my favorite authors, he's the first person who comes to mind here. Which is kind of dangerous that I picked this up because there's a very good chance I've already read whatever's inside. Yeah, looking at the other tags on this, good versus evil, that definitely screams Lovecraft, right? Especially fears and desires. I have a feeling it's Lovecraft. It may not be. Who knows? What do you think in the comments? Obviously, you're about to find out anyway. I'm about to find out anyway. But if you want to leave a comment first, tell me what you think it is, and then you can say whether or not you were right or wrong. I'll trust you that you weren't skipping ahead. So yeah, I love, obviously, the wrapping. It's great. Not much else to say about that, I guess. It's just very mysterious. I'm super excited to open it. And then if you are interested, I don't know if they ship or not. It's probably only local, but it's called blinddatewithabook.com. If you're interested, I guess, in ordering. Oh, and it says, don't judge a book by its cover. I'm so excited. I've been looking forward to opening this up for a few days now because I bought this a few days ago and it wasn't my filming day. And today is the first day I've had a chance to just batch film a ton of videos because my husband is taking Sebastian out for a long walk. Without further ado, let's open this thing up. Okay. Ooh, I'm so excited. I'm kind of sad though, because I really like this wrapping. Let's see. Okay. This is what I'm seeing so far. Is that a horse? That looks like a horse. Stephen King has said something, clearly. Darkly poetic. Darkly poetic. Anyone else have a guess now? Any guesses based on halfway opening it? Fantasy Masterworks is, I guess, the publisher. Darkly poetic, probably Bradbury's best work. Ray Bradbury, okay. We've got a Ray Bradbury here with a horse. I'm trying to think of what involves a horse. Something Wicked, This Way Comes. I have actually never read this. Okay, have you read this? Let me know in the comments. I have not. I'm interested in seeing how this goes. Let me read the summary on the back cover and we'll talk about it. It's the week before Halloween. So not Halloween, but with an apostrophe E-N. And Cougar and Dark's Pandemonium Shadow Show has come to Greentown, Illinois. The siren song of the Calliope enticed all with promises of youth regained and dreams fulfilled. And as two boys trembling on the brink of manhood, that's a weird sentence, Trembling on the brink of manhood? Why would you be trembling? Anyway, set out to explore the mysteries of the dark carnival's smoke, mazes, and mirrors. They will also discover the true price of innermost wishes. Okay, interesting. I was not expecting this one. So the Washington Post says it's a timeless rite of passage book. And then the Encyclopedia of Fantasy. There's an Encyclopedia of Fantasy? Ray Bradbury's most poignant evocation of hopes and frustrations of small-town life. Okay, so it's about small-town life. Clearly, it's in Greentown, Illinois, and it involves carnival. I'm a little bit nervous about reading this, to be quite honest. I don't know how I'm going to feel about it, but we're gonna try. I'm gonna start reading this. This is a blind date. Sometimes blind dates go terribly. Sometimes they go well. We're gonna see that. The one thing about a blind date though, if you're not having fun, don't waste your time. Get out of there as fast as you can. And I'm a mama. I don't have time to be reading things that I'm not getting into, I'm not interested in. I have plenty of books that are on my reading list that I know that I really, really want to read. So I'm not gonna stick with this if I don't find it to be captivating enough for me. And I'll be honest with you, I'll tell you why, I'll tell you where I stopped, and maybe we can have a chat about it. But I'm gonna start it, I'm gonna have my little blind date, and I'll keep an open mind, and I will get back to you in the future. The future! So it only took me about, what has it been, 4 months to actually get around to properly reading this? And the only reason that I even got to this book at all was I had a long train ride from Oxford to London last night. And I decided this was finally my chance to really dive into this book and give it the chance that it deserved. But like most blind dates, it did not turn out as I was hoping, and I was left a little bit disappointed and creeped out. So while I appreciate the poetic style of writing that you find in here, I felt like it was in many ways a little bit too confusing. I don't know if this is because I have half a brain right now and lack of sleep and all this other stuff going on. For me, at this point in my life, for this specific reading, I just couldn't really follow what was happening because there was so much, I guess, I don't want to say flowery language because I don't think it was necessarily that. I think it was just, he was trying very, very hard to make it poetic. So I'm just opening up to a random page right now because I didn't really highlight anything or take any notes whatsoever. But just to give you a quick example of what I'm talking about, it's pretty easy to find. But if she heard, she went on biting the back of her hand, her voice the voice of someone come out of the sea, after no air, a long dread time deep, no hope of life, and now set free. Gone? She's at the bottom, poor girl. I knew her. I know you, I said when I first saw her a minute ago. I waved, she waved, hello. I ran, bang! I fell, she fell. 12, 1,000 of her fell. Wait, I said. Oh, she looked so fine, so lovely, so young, but it scared me. What? Am I not getting it? I feel a little bit, like, dumb. I don't know. Maybe it's just too much for my brain right now. Maybe I just can't handle this kind of writing at this point in my life. And like any date, sometimes just a certain personality is not right for you in that moment, and this is that book for me right now. I actually didn't even finish it. I think I got halfway through on the train and I decided that this just wasn't for me right now. I'll put it aside. Maybe one day I'll pick it up again and try again and fall in love, but not this time around. Also didn't help that I was reading this kind of creepy book on a creepy train that was completely empty at 10 o'clock at night. And you don't want to go on a blind date with anybody on a creepy train at 10 o'clock at night. I mean, I feel like I would like the premise of this. I did like the premise of this. I was kind of excited to see where it was gonna go, but it's not going anywhere that I understand. What don't I understand? Why don't I understand this? it's frustrating. This book is basically about these two boys who are like really good friends, and one of them seems like he's just trying to grow up and the other wants to stay a kid. That's what I'm getting out of this. I don't know. I need more coffee for this. It does not help that I was also reading this on the way back from my work's Christmas party last night. So I was a little bit too tired maybe, but even before, because I read a little bit before the train, and I've been reading bits and pieces the past few months, like trying to get into it, and just every single time I'd get a few pages down and I thought maybe I was just too busy, but I think it's really just, I can't get into this book. I just can't. So let me know your thoughts. Have you read this book? Do you want to read this book? Am I missing the point completely? Do you want to just tell me in the comments why I need to keep reading? Convince me and I'll try. I think this blind date was unfortunately a pass for me. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and please make sure to hit subscribe below for more. I kind of want to try another blind date in the future, so let me know your thoughts on that. Should I get another blind date book from that bookstore, or do you think I should just try finding books that I'm actually interested in? Thank you for watching, everybody. Bye!